Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Here I wanted to talk about one thing in Nier Automata, and that is the opening lines. These are very famous in the game. And I'll put them up, I'll write them up on the screen, and then I'll loop the reading behind it by the Japanese voice actor. The first time I played the game, I saw this and I was like, okay, opening lines, very dramatic, foreshadowing events and themes. I don't know what's going on, and I promptly forgot about them. It's a common device in storytelling to begin with this, and it pays to go back after the narrative in order to revisit it and see what exactly it was foreshadowing. But it can set expectations and make what eventually happens more believable. In rare cases, the beginning is the key to unlocking the entire thing, as in Infinite Jest. But looking at it now after completing the game, it's kind of a head-scratcher as far as the choice of voice actor. It sure sounds like 2B's voice actor, but based on what we know after completing the game, it doesn't sound like something she would actually say. Even up to her own end, she is focused on her mission and the safety of 9S. She never thinks bigger about the meaning of anything. I don't think she ever mentions gods or the cycle of life or death again, and she doesn't talk about revenge at all. I'm going off memory here, so if I forgot something, forgive me. Perhaps she thinks it and never voices it, not even to us, the player, but that is quite the leap. And the story has ample opportunity to have her explore these themes, but she never does. That is mostly 9S that does that. He talks more about gods and retribution. And I wonder who would be a more appropriate person to say these lines. Maybe Anemone, A2, the commander, but perhaps they gave the lines to 2B's voice actor, because she's on the cover of the box and she's on the screen when the lines are being said, and maybe it doesn't matter who says it. But let's look at these lines one by one. Design to end is interesting because it is passive voice, and because of the choice of the word design. Designed implies someone created it with intent. I guess that's natural to expect from an android. Maybe they couldn't conceive of something sort of coming into being just by chance. And then the passive voice here does not identify who did the designing. That could refer to a supernatural being in the sky, or it could refer to the humans in the game that built the androids, or it could refer to the game developers to get very meta. But design to end must be a reference to the revelation 9S has about the true nature of Yorha's plan. And that's another weird thing about the 2B choice here, because 9S never tells 2B about what he learned, unless he told her in a previous life, but there's no indication of that. So more and more, I think this is not 2B saying these lines, it is just 2B's voice actor saying it, if that makes sense. And the endless cycle of life and death reminds me of the Onion headline that refers to Metal Gear Solid. The endless cycle of life and death could be a reference to the Buddhist belief of samsara, the cycle of life and death and suffering. But I don't think so, because the game never contemplates, much less attempts, to achieve nirvana, which is the extinguishing of self in order to escape the cycle of suffering. The cycle is much simpler in this game. To 2B, her wish is simply that 9S stops dying and retains his memories, and in the bigger picture, her wish is to see the end of this great war. These are hopes firmly based in the natural world. There's no thought beyond what is right in front of her. So, although the Japanese practice Buddhism, I don't think it factored at all in the themes of this game. Next, is this a curse or a punishment? Curse implies something supernatural like magic, and punishment implies, again, a supernatural higher being or beings passing judgment. And again, let's touch on Buddhism, but in your various lives you build up good karma for good deeds, and bad karma for bad deeds. And if you build up too much bad karma, you get thrown into Buddhist hell, where you spend time according to how bad your karma is until you pay it off, and then you return to samsara. Good karma building up gets you reborn into better situations, which is often a more attractive, more modern alternative to the self-annihilation of achieving nirvana. But considering either a curse or a punishment, both assume that there is some kind of cause or meaning behind the current situation when there might not be any. As we learn, the beginnings of the war were rooted in something real, the alien invasion, but the continuation of the war is meaningless. Although the answer is never made clear, whether a curse or punishment, the situation is resolved during the course of the game, where the war ends due to the actions of 2B, 9S, and A2. And finally, we have a line about killing the creator. 2B never really talks about this idea again. A2 is about revenge, 9S is about revenge, but 2B is not. And the creator could again be a number of different entities. It could be the humans that invented the androids, now dead, although their data remains. It could be the game developers, who we actually do kill in a way during the final shooting game. Or the line could be a red herring to trick the player into expecting something, only to have the rug pulled out from under them. That's classic Yoko Taro. Alright, and I think that'll do it for this video. What I do is I write scripts until I hit about 2 pages, and that seems to be a good length for a video. Overall, I anticipate much fewer videos in this second playthrough than I do the 24 videos of the first. I'm here more just to talk about themes than to actually talk about like what's going on in the game, like event by event. Okay, but that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.